So, 4 months. It's been 4 months at the time I recorded this, 4 months since I last uploaded my most recent video. And honestly, I wasn't expecting for it to get so much views. So yeah, thanks to everyone who watched and or liked it. It means a lot, you're really supporting me a lot out here. And now you're probably wondering, Axel, it's been 4 months at the time I recorded this. What have you been doing all this time? Where have you been? Why haven't you uploaded? And to answer those questions, I need to tell you a story.
Here's how it started a long time ago.
After uploading my most recent video, I was planning on making one where I reviewed Punch Out for the NES and ranked every fighter from worst to best. But, I suffer from a really minor case of, serious procrastination. And then I stopped being lazy. I got my script out, I got my voice ready, got my footage ready, and then school started. And then I told myself that if I could put aside a few minutes to an hour each day, I could very slowly but surely, eventually, push out another video. Unfortunately, I got sick. Really sick. Then I just decided to put the whole project off altogether. I still have the script and the tier list and the materials for the video, just don't expect it anytime soon. Maybe like December if you're lucky, but maybe January. And so with nothing I could do, I decided to watch a YouTuber that I haven't seen in quite a while. The one and only Gamer Champ. Seeing her crazy outlandish videos where she does the impossible were really entertaining me back then. And then I got an idea. An awful idea. I got a wonderful, awful idea. I was gonna do a challenge run of the worst Sonic game of all time. Sonic Blast. Before we get to the gameplay, we need to establish one key rule. In this no right or left challenge run of Sonic Blast, we can't press the buttons to make the player go right or left. The only character that is possible as is Knuckles. His moveset lets us do 3 things. One of those things is a glide, which can reverse all direction if his glide is stopped by an upwards facing slope, and it can stop all forward momentum. Another thing he can do is lash into and climb walls. If you lightly tap the jump button while on a wall, Knuckles will turn around. If you try to glide before he touches the ground, then he'll be facing the same direction that he was previously. And lastly, Knuckles can also spin dash. We're going to use this as a method of attack and of movement. I used the Game Gear version of Sonic Blast via the Sonic Origins Plus collection. This was actually a very bad idea. Do not use the Game Gear version. I repeat, do not use the Game Gear version. With all the rules set and our game loaded, let's get this waking nightmare over with. Act 1 of Green Hill isn't hard at all if you know what you're doing. One thing I should probably mention. Do not go over the goalpost. Otherwise, the level becomes impossible since you get stuck on the other side of the goalpost, and you won't be able to go back without pressing left. And like we already said before, you can't press left in a no right or left challenge run. Act 2 isn't too hard either. Just grab the walls and the loops and jump to turn around and keep progressing. The boss will start on the right side of the screen, and then he'll fire his boomerang twice before going to the left side of the screen and fire his boomerang twice again before going to the right side of the screen to repeat the process. We can beat him quickly if we jump as high as we can and glide into him to get 3 hits in, then get hit to turn around, and then land a few more hits in by jumping and gliding into him again. In Yellow Desert Act 1, be sure not to hit the sprint at the beginning, because if you do, you'll be stuck unless you press right or left. And as already mentioned, you can't press right or left in a no right challenge run. Instead, climb the wall that it's closest to. If you accidentally use the pipes, you can latch into the left wall in the room that you're taken to, and jump to turn around and try again the level. Just make sure you do a well-timed glide to get out before you get sucked back into the pipe again. In Act 2, use the top round of the first corridor and the bottom round of the second corridor. The top round of the second corridor ends with a spike ball that you can't launch onto, and the top round is just faster than the bottom round of this first corridor. The less Sonic Blast, the better. The Act 3 boss is pretty similar to the first boss, but this time ended from the right side of the screen, which makes all the difference. Eggman will wait for you to hit him. After a few seconds, or if you hit him, He'll go off screen for a bit and try to hit you with a spear while going to the other side of the screen and repeat the process. When the screen starts scrolling, stop your momentum with the glide and hit him when the screen stops scrolling. Take a hit to end him on the right side of the screen so you can spin dash and glide into him to land a few more hits. Rinse repeat until he's as good as gone. In Act 1 of Red Volcano, you can just damage boost to the end. Act 2 is also a straight shot to the goal for the most part. Once you get to these geysers, use a perfectly timed glide to get through each of them. Act 3 has our first roadblock. It took us 9 levels and nothing, but we finally got there. You see this elevator on the left? You see this platform on the right? You see how Knuckles jumps further than the elevator? And do you know what that means, viewer? It means we can't progress the challenge run! Ah! Is what I thought. A user by the name of YoshiStir happened to beat me to the punch 5 years ago. In this video I found, he scrolls the elevator all the way up, latches onto the wall, jumps and glides to latch onto the wall under the elevator, climbs just to where Knuckles jolts up a little bit, jumps again, and then glides to the right. Why did I think of that? Because I'm stupid. After pulling that trick off, we reach the boss. Eggman will jump on one side of the screen, attack with his flail as he comes down to do the same on the other side. I'm starting to sense a pattern with all these bosses. We can beat him if we wait for him to jump, glide into him when he gets on screen, and then reposition ourselves in the safe zone shown on screen. Welcome to Blue Marine Zone. This level sucks! Not only is it an underwater level, but it's also a spaghetti pipe maze mess. On top of that, there are invisible underwater currents that'll push you in a direction you most likely don't want to go. This zone is the living definition of a sea of awfulness. With all that said, Act 1 isn't too hard. You can break the bridge near the beginning of the level to go down, but there's a 1-up if you break the wall to the right, and a faster route to the pipe. Once you get to this part of the level, climb the right wall to get into this pipe indicated by the arrow on screen. Unfortunately, this is where the run comes to an end. After you exit this pipe, you'll need to turn around with the spring. Use a short glide on the ground to turn around, climb these walls in the reverse directions. But there's just one small, tiny, itty-bitty, teensy-weensy tiny problem. You see, once you exit the pipe, the screen scrolls to the right just enough so that the left wall isn't climbable. I tried everything I could, but it just looks like the no right or left challenge run of Sonic Blast is impossible. Is what I thought. While the Game Gear version may be impossible, looking back at YoshiStir's video, he's using the Master System version. So back to the challenge run. Once we lash into the wall, we can jump to turn around and jump the other two platforms on the right to get to the goal. That wasn't too hard. and everyone warning out this one zone in particular. So you know what's on it, Blast? Do your worst. Give you the most insane obstacle you can think of. The most insane, frustrating, stupid obstacle you can possibly. Someone please end my suffering. I never want to game down so much of my life when I'm not at the final zone yet. Someone help! Make your way down the level. It doesn't really matter which route you take since both routes end up in the same direction. Eventually, you'll end up here with these 3 platforms. I highly recommend going to the left or air level. Afterward, be very careful when you go to the right. If you're even a pixel off, you'll be stuck and forced to rejoin and start the level. Once you've done that, carefully climb the wall on the right and position yourself to jump to the pipe. The air curve will take you down and you have to take this pipe shown on screen. Now this is where things get even harder in the run. You have to turn around, climb the wall on the right, and then very carefully jump to the right position. Rush to the left into the wall, jump to turn around, spin dash, and jump and land at the right possible second so you can turn Knuckles around. Too early and you'll be stuck under. Too late and you'll be too far to the right to turn around and you'll have to try again with the air current. Once you've done that, rush to the left again to turn around, and then move through these pipes to clear the level. What a mess. The boss better be worse. For the boss, Eggman starts on the right side of the screen and either A, shoots Knuckles, or B, moves the other side to turn on and repeat the process. Keep in mind the whole fight is underwater, meaning you're on a strict time limit. If Eggman shoots while Knuckles is grounded, then an air bubble will spawn. If Knuckles isn't grounded, then he'll shoot straight forward. We need to alternate between hitting him and waiting for air to beat him, which is much easier said than done. But don't worry, with just enough practice, and an insane amount of luck, you too can win like me. Silver Castle Act 1 is the very first Act 1 of the challenge run to not be too easy. You will need a map to check for soft walks and to see which portals take you where. I played this game more times than I can count, and I still get lost. Act 2 is an absolute cakewalk. Early level before the first spike wall chase segment, there's a shortcut we can take which will put us right before the second spike wall chase segment to save us some time. However, a special staging blocks the way, meaning we'll have to waste some time and come back to the shortcut again. We'll miraculously be facing left and we'll be able to finish the level easily. The start of Act 3 puts us right next to the teleporter to the final boss, but I recommend getting a few rings before you fight Eggman one last time. Eggman starts above Knuckles and will choose between going to the left and going to the right to shoot. If Eggman ever uses his brain and goes to the right, use a well-timed glide to avoid the lasers. Move the platform to the left with the spin dash and watch as Eggman destroys his last machine. With Eggman's last machine destroyed and the not Death Egg sinking to the ocean, we're brought back to the title of this video. Can you beat Sonic Blast without pressing right or left? On the Game Gear version? No, sadly not. On the Master System version though, yes you can. And thank God this game is over. I am never touching this god-awful, soul-sucking, life-draining, disgusting, foul, putrid, F-tier, sickening, evil, despicable, 1 out of 10 game ever again. Not with a 33.5-foot pole, even if my life depended on it. Though, to be fair, this challenge run was kinda fun. One might even call it a Sonic Blast. Before I close the video, I want to thank Sonic Galaxy's website for the maps link in the description that helped me through the challenge run, as well as Yoshi's first video of the challenge run also linked in the description. And of course, as I mentioned in the intro, GameChamp also linked in the description where it inspired me to make this video that probably won't get more than like 300 views at most. That's all for now. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, and I'll see you in every 32nd.